Hi, everyone. So, last time I was here with you, I spent a little bit of time talking about slaying dragons and, why it's really important to work on slaying those dragons. And today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about honoring yourself. And now what honoring yourself is, it's, making sure that you're setting boundaries and sticking to those boundaries and making sure that other people are sticking to those boundaries. So basically forcing people to stick to those boundaries. And also, a really big one is making yourself stick to boundaries that you set for yourself. So, say you're trying to institute a new healthy habit and you really want to make sure that you stick to that habit, setting a boundary for yourself and saying, okay, this is something that I want to do. I want to accomplish it by this date. And basically the only things that are going to stand in your way are going to be other people, other people's self-interests, we'll say, and yourself. And not only yourself, but yourself in regards to other people. So, it's no secret that I see a mental health professional. And I'm seeing her for, issues with PTSD and for issues with perfectionism. And my perfectionism shows up in ways where I don't recognize it right away. And it's basically me trying to, get people's approval, even though I don't really need it. And I'm not necessarily intentionally or consciously trying to seek their approval. It's just such an ingrained part of me that it's something that I do automatically. So, we'll take my husband, for example. So, he has zero expectations from me. And, so like I was just telling my counselor the other day that I went to the grocery store and I have budget every week of, things that I'm going to buy. Like I have a list. I always go with a list and I have a budget for how much money I'm going to spend. I have things that I eat and he has things that he eats. I'm a vegan. He is not. So typically a lot of the things that I purchase are either for me or for him. And then I also buy things that are for both of us. But there's a lot of stuff that he gets that I won't eat. And so, sometimes he sends me the list, and the list is pretty much like almost my entire budget, leaving zero left over for myself. And instead of telling him, look, I understand and appreciate that you really want all this stuff. If I get all this stuff, then I can't get the stuff that I need. And I don't tell him that. He doesn't know. He has no clue. And he doesn't know and probably won't know unless he sees this video. Because, and I don't even know if he watches my videos, probably not. But I am putting myself last. I'm taking myself out of the equation and I'm saying, okay, basically I'm sacrificing my comfort and my needs for him to make him happy. Even though if I told him like, hey, I understand that you really want these potato chips, but these potato chips are whatever. I mean, I don't buy cheap stuff. I buy, decent quality, not that chips are, good for you anyway, but like I buy good quality stuff. And so that costs a little bit more money. I tend to buy organic stuff and that costs a lot more money. So if I'm buying things for him that is a little bit higher quality and, a little bit more money, then that takes away from me. And I'm just the type of person, like I just give and give and give. And it's not even because they are requesting it. If I told him like, hey, no chips this week, he'd be like, okay, whatever, I'll just eat bananas. Like he would totally be fine with that. And he would have no problem with it. But I don't want to disappoint him. So I buy everything that he tells me. I don't tell him that I'm like basically, scrimping for myself and I'm like not, buying things that I really need and then eating really crappy food for the week because I'm spending all of my allotted budget on him. And that's really unhealthy. It's not good. It's not fair. It's not fair to him, and it's not fair to me, because now I'm basically keeping something from him, not intentionally. It's not that, like it's super important, because, honestly, even if I just came home with no potato chips, he would be perfectly fine. So I need to start working on setting a boundary for myself that says, okay, I have a budget. I can kind of look at the list when he sends me the list of what he wants, or he tells me what he wants, and I can kind of in my head figure out how much all this stuff is going to cost. I have a budget. I don't really want to go over my budget, because if I do, then I end up spending a lot of money on things that really just aren't necessary. Like potato chips are not necessary. They're really just not. So I need to just say, look, to myself, this is what we're going to do. Maybe he gets chips this week and he doesn't get them next week. Or maybe this week I spend, I buy him 2 bags of chips, so he has chips for this week and the following week. And then next week I get myself something to last 2 weeks, and then I alternate. So, whatever it is that I decide, I need to set a boundary for myself, and I need to say, this is what I'm going to do, and I need to stick to it. Because that's a way of honoring myself. It's honoring my wants and my needs. And it's saying that I matter. What I need matters. What I want matters. And yes, what other people want and need matters too. But what you want and need is just as important, if not more important. And part of the problem that a lot of us face is that we put other people's needs before our own. I've done this for years. I just give to everybody. I give everybody my time. I give people my money. I give people everything that I have. I bend over backwards to do things for people. They don't ask me to do them. But I do them. And 9 times out of 10, I don't really complain about it. Sometimes I think after the fact that it really kind of hosed myself, but I don't complain about it, because it makes me feel good to help people. But in the same respect, as good as it makes me feel to help people, it also makes me more vulnerable to negative thoughts. And so this is kind of plays into what I talked about last time, is the never-ending, hamster wheel of negativity, where now your brain has fodder for you to, for it to just kind of constantly berate you and beat you up and tell you how horrible you are and how terrible you are and all these awful things. So, by me not honoring myself, by me not saying what I'm thinking, by me not doing what I need to do, by me not setting boundaries, by me not sticking to the boundaries that I've set, my brain just says, they don't value you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody, like you're not valued because, I think I mentioned it last time, or maybe the time before, about, someone who set a boundary and they keep crossing the boundary. And I've finally had it. Like, I just can't tolerate it anymore. I just will not tolerate it anymore, because it makes me feel terrible. Because then I start to question my value. Like, what is it about me? What is it about me that makes you feel like you don't have to listen to me? Like, what is it about what I've said or what I've done or who I am as a person that makes you feel that what I say is absolutely meaningless? And so then you start to, question your self-worth, and you start to question your values. And it's absolutely not a problem with you. It's the other person. The other people, sometimes they really just don't care. And they don't care about your boundaries, because they're just going to push and push and push, and they're going to try and take whatever they can, because they know they can get away with it, until you tell them, that's it, no more. I can't take this anymore. I will not take this anymore. And you have to do something drastic, like take their keys away, so they can't come in your house anymore. You turn off your phone so they can't call you 20 times a day. Every time they call and leave a voicemail, you just delete it. And and this is what you have to do with those kinds of people. And then they're going to go crazy, and they're going to say, like, they're going to try and make you feel bad. They're going to try and make you feel guilty because you're not playing by their rules. But that's what it's about. It's about other people trying to make you play by their rules, and they have to understand that it's a give and take. If you have a relationship with someone and it's a one-sided relationship where it's constantly they take and you give and it's not balanced, it's not a healthy relationship. And a lot of times, like I said, I really love helping people. I do. I really love it. And it really makes me feel good to do nice things for people, to make people feel good, to give them things that I know that they want or I know that they need. But I also have to, be very cognizant and very, very mindful about what I'm giving, how much of myself I'm giving, and what it's doing to me as a person, right? How it makes me feel deep down inside, and how it makes my mind really think about the things, or how it makes the monkey mind make me feel about things. So if there's something that your brain keeps running on autopilot about, telling you like this relationship, someone isn't treating you right or whatever, and it's telling you something like serves you right because you're a blah blah blah, or that's what you deserve because you're a blah blah blah, then obviously this is a relationship that you need to examine and reevaluate, because obviously there's something going on in the relationship where you're not valued, or you need to set a boundary. And you really need to think about, how am I going to get this set, and how am I going to get to stick to it? I know the worst can be boundaries with parents, because parents, they really, really, really try so hard to guilt you into making you feel bad for not answering them, for not dropping everything and going to do whatever it is that they want you to do, for not, taking the time to talk to them. And I'm not saying that, you should absolutely just like completely disown your parents unless they're horrible people. And then you really should, because that's really to your benefit. You don't owe your parents anything. You don't owe anybody anything. What you do owe is yourself. You owe yourself self-respect. You owe yourself your dignity. And if people are treating you like crap and they're making you feel guilty for not playing their games, then, obviously, again, you need to really re-examine that relationship and see, what it is that's going on. So, doing things to honor yourself. If you make plans for something that you want to do and something else comes up, and it's not something that you want to do because you already have plans, honor yourself and keep your plans for yourself. Don't say yes to somebody else, because they might get upset because, your sister's having a birthday party for a niece and nephew or whatever. And, you had planned on going camping or going hiking or spending the day with a girlfriend or whatever. And, you really don't see this family very much, and you really don't care about them that much. If they really don't include you that much in their lives, don't feel obligated to spend time with them, and take time away from a relationship that is, a really good relationship to cultivate, like, a relationship with a really good friend. you know um this one's one that comes up a lot, is weddings. I have a really good friend who's getting married, and she's like, my parents are pressuring me to invite all these people that I don't ever talk to, cousins and aunts. And I know it's exactly the same. It was for me when I got married. Like, my parents didn't care who I invited to the wedding, but my in-law was like, hey, you need to invite so-and-so, and you need to invite so-and-so. And like, my husband and I, we got married for our 10th anniversary. And I was like, if I have not met these people in the 10 years that we've been together, I am not inviting them to my wedding. I'm just not. If in 10 years you have not made it a point to come over, to send us Christmas cards, to get to know us, to get to know me, I'm not inviting you to my wedding. And they will pressure you, parents, family, whatever, will pressure you to either go to a wedding for someone who you don't ever talk to or ever see, or invite people to your wedding, or invite them to a birthday party or graduation or whatever it is. It's absolutely not necessary. It really isn't. You do what makes you happy. Don't let other people pressure you into doing things that you really don't want to do, because you're not honoring yourself if you're doing that. You really need to honor yourself and your thoughts and your wishes and what you truly want, because what really matters in the end is that you are happy. And if you're doing all these things to make all these other people happy, you will end up miserable. And 9 times out of 10, you'll end up broke, because you're doing all this stuff and you'll end up burnout and it'll just be crazy and you won't be happy. So you really need to honor yourself and then take time for yourself. I last week, I took a little bit of time off because I had some things that I was working on, and some personal things that I was working on. And I decided that I needed to have, some time for myself. So that's what I did. Like, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to have some time for myself. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to cancel a few plans that I have. And I'm just going to spend some time in silence. And that's what I did, because sometimes you just need to rest and recharge. You need to spend time alone to do that. You can't recharge your batteries if you're constantly in a state of flux. Like if you've got your cell phones and TVs and computers and tablets and all these bings and boops and beeps and noises from all this stuff, constantly distracting you, it can be really stressful. So taking some time, one of my favorite ways to do this is like in a bubble bath. I absolutely love it. I'll go in there, put on some soothing music, put, some really nice hot water in the bathtub, and then some Epsom salts with essential oils, and just soak for a little while till the water starts to get a little tepid. Then I let it out and then rinse off and get out. And this really makes me feel better. Like I really enjoy doing it. And I love, just relaxing this way. And sometimes I'll set a goal. And if I achieve all of my milestones for my goal, this is how I'll reward myself, is by taking a bath or sleeping in. That's another one that unfortunately I don't really have, and I shouldn't say I don't really have the luxury of sleeping in. I get up at like 4:30 most days, but that's a choice that I make. I could sleep in, I could totally sleep later, but I choose to get up at 4:30. And I get up and I exercise and I make coffee, and then I journal and meditate, and I, basically plan my day and get everything ready. Then I take a shower, brush my teeth, and get ready. And then I start my day, usually around, between 7 and 8. So I'm up for a good couple hours before I actually really physically start my day. And that to me is a practice where I'm honoring myself, because it's a really enjoyable practice for me. I love being up in the morning. I can, see the sun coming up. I can hear the birds start to chirp. There's not so many right now because like everyone's going south for the winter. But no one else is awake. The house is quiet. It's peaceful. And I really enjoy that time to myself. And honestly, like I wouldn't trade that for the world. But in the same respect, sometimes for me, it's a really nice treat to be able to sleep in. So I honor myself by sleeping in, on the days that I know that I need more rest. We just got back from a backpacking trip, and I rested for 2 days because we slept on the hard ground. We didn't have sleeping pads, and my back was, I'm not 20 anymore. And, I don't know what I was thinking when I went out there and was like, let's just lay on the ground with no sleeping pad, whatever. But my back was a little sore. So I honored myself. Instead of getting up and exercising like I normally would have when we got back, I got up and I did stretching, because I know stretching is really, really beneficial and will help, the stiffness and the soreness. I've been using a heating pad during the day, just kind of putting it on my lower back to help, with the pain. So I'm listening to my body and I'm honoring what it's telling me. It's telling me I need rest, I take rest. If it's telling me I need water, I take water. If it's telling me I need food, then I eat food. So just paying attention and really, really honoring yourself, doing what you want to do, not what everybody else wants, and just really, really taking care of yourself. Because again, this is the only home you're going to have to live in for the rest of your life. Like none of this stuff matters, right? I mean, this house could disappear tomorrow, but this house is still going to be here. Hopefully, that's my hope is every morning I wake up and, this house is still here and able to move. And, every day I wake up, I'm grateful. Every day I'm able to get out of bed. I'm grateful. Every day I'm able to do things. I'm grateful because there are so many people that aren't as lucky. So, I just wanted to take a little bit of time today and talk about honoring yourself and just how important it is, because it's truly important. It's like one of the most important things that you could ever do for yourself is to just pay attention to yourself, do things for yourself, and really show yourself some love and respect. Because honestly, if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect anybody else to respect you? If you don't like yourself, how can you expect anybody else to like you? So, start respecting yourself and then other people will start to follow suit. So that's all I have for today. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you found the content to be, helpful, I, encourage you to like it, subscribe to the channel for more content, share it with your friends and family, and comment in the comments and tell me what it is that you do to honor yourself or what you wish you could do to honor yourself. If there's something that you struggle with or someone that you struggle with, I'm always available. You can send me an email. You can send me a message on Facebook and, we can chat about whatever it is that you're struggling with and how I could possibly help you. So, I really encourage you to, give the video a like and comment. We need to start a dialogue about, things that people struggle with so that everybody can understand that everyone struggles. And more than anything, we all struggle with self-care, with self-love, and with honoring ourselves. So, and I'm not saying be a completely vain, obnoxious asshole. I'm just saying it's important to take time for you because you can't fill from an empty cup. So you need to do what you need to do to fill your cup first. So until next time, thanks again for taking the time to be with me and for watching this video. And we'll see you next time. Take care.